Most Americans are not aware of the importance of this new government that's being formed. And not to use a cliche of a new world order, and I don't want to use that, but there is indeed on track at present in Copenhagen to establish a government that only the devil himself would establish, but it is brilliant. When I get a chance to talk more about the Afghan speech, I'll have to say, with all of the political speeches I've heard, not necessarily the oratory, but what that speech last night in West Point meant and how it was, what it will entail, it was brilliant with a capital B. Not that I approve of it. It was satanically brilliant. My brothers and my sisters, this climate change conference happening in Copenhagen next week is a critical time for our planet. I want you to pray about whether I should go. Now, I'm not a delegate, obviously. You know that. The press will be there. I'm a member of the press. I want you to pray about whether or not I should go. I don't have a word from the Lord that says, go to Copenhagen and be a part, be there. Let your presence be there when these men, these vile men, come together and usurp my creation authority outlined in the book of Genesis. I don't have a word like that from God. However, I'm waiting. And your prayers aiding the event. I want to know if I should be in Copenhagen when they set in motion a world government that will literally usurp every other government on the planet. These men will come to this point. I don't think very much about Woodrow Wilson as a president. I think less about his wife, who denied the American people for a goodly number of days, months, when he fell sick and was unable to lead this nation as president, and she took over illegally. She was the first illegal president. Woodrow Wilson's wife was. And there's a lot of questions about how he actually met her, what happened with his first wife, but that haven't been said. Woodrow Wilson tried to establish what was referred to in his day as the League of Nations. And people said, and Woodrow Wilson's call was, if we ever establish a League of Nations, we will never have war again on this planet, because this League of Nations will be able to stop all wars. And this was in the backdrop of World War I. Well, Woodrow Wilson was not successful, but he planted the seeds for what is now known as the United Nations. And many people at the time never thought that the nations of the world would come together under a common decree and declaration. The United Nations hold no governing, ruling, or exercisable or enforceable powers on any of its member nations. My friends, what is being proposed in Copenhagen will cause what is now like the United Nations, an organization to come that will be able to enforce its laws upon any nation that is a member of it, and any nation that's not a member of it, it can annihilate and cause to cease to exist. I simply gave you that brief history lesson of the League of Nations, first uttered in the mind and heart and off the lips of Woodrow Wilson, once governor of New Jersey and president of Princeton University. In the event you want to know how familiar I am with that entire exercise, I've studied that period of the formation of the League of Nations intensely, and also of the United Nations. My friends, we're at number 3 now, where this climate control conference will be a group like the United Nations, but it will have enforceable powers to govern all of its member nations. My friends, we cannot let this happen. And nobody's telling us. My question is to you. I'm asking you simply to pray with me as to whether I should attend, whether I should go to Copenhagen and be a part of that event, even if I have to stand outside of the arena where the event is being held. I don't have a word from the Lord. I don't have a yes from the Lord that I should go. But I'm asking you because I know that you understand my sincerity and you understand the gravity of this matter, and you recognize as well that the rest of the world is asleep. Now, I told you, as Lucas outlined a few moments ago, that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad would broker a deal between the long-legged Mac Daddy and the Taliban and Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, and he's going to pull the troops out. My friends, listen, the war is essentially in Afghanistan. Our adversity to terrorism is over with as of last night. There is no longer a war on terror. It's over with. It's over with as of last night. The long-legged Mac Daddy speech at West Point effectively has ended any aggression we have towards a response of the terrorists that hit our nation in 9/11, Bali, London, and any place else on the planet where terrorists have activated their vicious and pernicious, if you will, acts against Christianity and democracy and capitalism. It's over with. It's over with. Obama's statements last night has effectively ended all of our adversity. We are no longer a nation at war. Now, one may say that's a good thing. It was brilliant in its execution. It was brilliant in the way it was presented. What Obama did last night with a deal brokered by Mahmoud Ahmadinejad effectively said, come July 11, we can celebrate the end of all hostilities between Muslims and the rest of the world. That's it. That is it, my friends. Now that that is done, he's ready to go pick up his Nobel Prize for Peace, and one may say he's earned it. If you hate capitalism, if you hate the U.S. Constitution, if you hate Christ and Christianity, then you will say he's earned it. But let me say this to you. Now he goes to Copenhagen and picks up the mantle of president of the world. My going there will not stop him. Will not stop him. But should I be there at this great and historical moment? Should I be there is the question I have before the Lord. And right now I am fasting. I haven't had a morsel of food nor anything to drink since 9 p.m. last night. I have not eaten or drank anything. And it's here in Eastern Standard Time, a few minutes shy of 6 o'clock. I will not break my fast until after we've gone off of the air. Will you pray with me as to whether I should go? And if God says, no, I will not go, I will not argue with him. But I need your prayers. And I'm asking you to stand with me on this matter. ATLAH. That's what God said. That's what God said.